I'm just going to rest my hands on top of my thighs, palms up. And I'm going to close the eyes. And in yoga, we gauge our efforting through the sound and quality of our breath. So we inhale through the nose and exhale out the nose. And taking your time doing this several times. Letting go of the stuff of the day. And now slowly open the eyes, relax the arms. And if you want to take just a couple of nice big shoulder rolls up, back, and down. Now, from whatever seated position you are in, I invite you to come here now into the seated wide angle Upavishta Konasana. When I'm sitting up, I place the hands underneath the buttock flesh. I pull it back and out wide toward the shoulders. Then I'm going to rock a little bit from side to side. And all I'm doing here is connecting with what we call in yoga the sits bones. From an anatomy perspective, these are the ischial tuberosity. So I want to make sure I'm sitting up and forward on the front edge of the ischial tuberosity, because otherwise, this is what can happen, is that slouching, collapsing appearance. Now, to help you with this, I'm going to show you how you can use blocks. I'm going to back up a little bit because I want to see if I can't try to stay fully on camera here with this. So I'm going to bring the blocks out in front, and I'm going to start on level 3. So with the blocks, we have level 1, level 2, and level 3. I'm going to take everybody up to the highest level. And all I'm doing here is using the blocks shoulder width apart. I'm pressing down to lift my chest up and forward, to push down and out through the legs. Now, what's happening is I'm lengthening the whole posterior side here, right? All the way from the Achilles tendon, the calf, the hamstring muscles, up into the glute, even affecting the lower back, stretching the hip adductor, ADD muscles responsible for bringing us in toward the midline of the body. Now, for those of you who can do the forward flexion, I'm going to slowly walk the blocks out in front, and I'm pushing down to lift the chest up and forward. Now, if you have the flexibility, you take the blocks down to level 2. So I think you can see a little bit here that it's still on camera. I'm pushing out through the heels, belly button is in. And then maybe you have the flexibility to bring the blocks down to level 1. Now, Amy, could I ask you a favor? Would you be able to just could you remove the banner for a second when you bring the camera picture larger just for a moment? And then if you could show because I want them to still see where level 1 is. Thanks, Amy. Just for the moment. If you want to bring any banners back, be my guest. So now I'm going to open up the blocks because I'm going to bring the hands down. At this point, you lose the hands, but you know what's happening. So it's all about lifting the chest up and forward. I don't think about doing this, folks. It's not the deep dive with the head and rounding. That's got nothing to do with getting you closer to the floor. In fact, it's pulling you further away. So I'm just slowly but surely extending out, and here we go. Here's my compression on the abdomen. Breath in and out through the nose. Breathing into the back muscles and understanding that every time you breathe, you're massaging the abdomen. And then I'm going to slowly walk it back in. Take your time. Notice the chest is lifted. I'm not all rounded. And now from here, let me get these out of the way. And let's draw the legs out in front and just kind of windshield wiper the legs. Now for the next one, I'm going to sit a little diagonal for you, and I'm bending the knees and bringing the soles of the feet together, but about a solid 1.5 to 2 feet away from my groin. So we're bringing them like so, holding on to the shins. Now, this is what can happen, right? Well, I want you to use those strong biceps that we work on to pull that low back up. Notice how you get to puff up your chest, depress the shoulder girdle. And if you see, my back isn't stick straight. There's a subtle, tiny lumbar curve, and that natural curve is a lordotic curve. It's the same curve that's in the cervical spine of the neck. Now, if you want to stay here, that's fine. I would certainly suggest that for back spine flexion issues. But for the rest of us, I want you to bring your hands underneath your ankles, taking a hold of the tops of the feet. If you can't reach the feet, that's okay. The belly button is in. I've got a lot of compression on both ascending, descending colon here. Now inhale, lift the head and the heart. I'm pushing my elbows to the floor, using my biceps to bring my chest forward. For some of you, this might be really nasty on the neck. So let me grab a block and show you what you can do is like so. Hold on to the block and bring your forehead to the block. This way you don't have to stress your neck. Now, I have to tell you, this is excellent for the SI joint, the sacroiliac joint. When you break down that word, you realize, the sacrum, the ilium, this is at the back area, the low back and hip, where they meet each other, the hip bone. And I'm just pulling the heart forward, breath in and out through the nose. This is diamond pose. My gaze is out in front. Then inhale, turn the palms down. Exhale, slowly come up, and I'm going to support myself by bringing the knees together. Now from here, I want you to bring, this is an upright approach to Pavana Muktasana, wind removing. I'm going to wrap my arms around. Now, what if you have those knee issues? Bring your feet further out. Forearms underneath your knees. Grab a hold of your elbows that way. You'll still get plenty of compression on the abdomen. So inhale, lift the head and the heart, depress the shoulders. Exhale, lower the forehead toward the knees. I don't want you to I got to really hit my knees. I don't care about that. Just relax the head. Breathing in and out through the nose in yoga. And then inhale, lift the head, belly button pulled in. Exhale, alter the grip of the elbows. Inhale, lift the head and the heart. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift the head, and on the exhale, I'm going to bring my legs out in front. My knees were really compressed, right? Hyperflexed. So I'm going to extend out from the knees and push the calf flesh, the back of the upper thighs, the back of the lower legs down towards your ankles. Let's open up the connective tissue with the knees, right? And then I'm going to give it a little shake, maybe windshield wiper in and out. And then from here, what I'd like you to do is you're going to keep your right leg, your real right. This is my left, yeah, but I'm mirroring you. So your right leg out in front. I want you to bend that opposite knee and place the foot on the floor. Then you place the sole of the foot up against the inner thigh. Now, what if you have knee issues here? You take that towel and you wring it out like it's soaking wet. And then you bring it in and tie it around. You don't have to tie it, just wrap it around, and then you go into that position of the flexion of the knee. This way, with the towel, you'll open up the meniscus and the ligaments at the knee joint. For us who are choosing not to use the towel, I still want you to do a little bit of a little hack to open them up. So I'm going to slip the hands in behind the knee crease, one hand on my thigh flesh, one hand on my calf flesh. And I'm pulling and rolling the calf and the thigh flesh away from each other. When I sit, I want to think I'm pulling right hip back, left hip a little forward, challenging for females, by the way. And I want you to think about bringing the left shoulder, left side of your body toward the right big toe. Those of you with flexion issues, use your strap, stay upright. Otherwise, for the rest of us, I'm pulling the right buttock cheek back as I lengthen the torso forward. I'm going to bring the block over because I'll show you how you can use that. Inhale, lift the head and the heart. Exhale, lengthen to pull. Seated head to knee pose is also known as Janu Shirshasana. Also excellent for the kidneys, spleen, and liver. Really great for that posterior leg and thigh. Yes, calf, hamstring, up into the glute and back. So I'm using the block at the sole of the foot to give myself a little more length. If you're particularly flexible, I have the block at level 2 here now. Left shoulder in the direction of the right big toe. So on your right side, this is the ascending colon we're going after. And breathe. And then inhale, I'm going to lift the head, lengthen to come up, maybe even reach the ceiling. And then exhale, hands to the heart in Namaste. Now, I want you to take this with your leg out a little bit, just an inch or two. I readjust the seat because I want to make sure I'm squared off, right hip back, left hip forward. Now when you go to do it, there really is a subtle twist here. Left shoulder toward that right big toe, and I'm going to reach out. And then maybe I'm going to, with my right hand, grab my left wrist and pull that left side over. Belly button pulled in, breath in and out through the nose. Toes stretched wide apart. I feel it all the way up to the gluteal. And then inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, facing forward, hands to the heart in Namaste. Now, I'm going to take this to the next level. This is not for beginners, but if you're flexible enough, try it with me. So hand underneath the knee. First off, let's give the knee a break. See this? I'm pushing the calf flesh down toward the foot just to reopen everything. Also taking off the cat hair while I do it. Okay. And he is with us in spirit right now. And so I'm going to bend the knee. Now for the next level, I want to get my arm underneath here, lift the leg and bring it up and over my shoulder. My right hand grabs the outer arch of the left foot. I lift up, brace myself with the left hand to lift. Now, guess what? That descending colon is getting some activity here from your own thigh. So that's how you can level it up, so to speak, if you're ready to do that. And then we gently lower down, going into the next posture. I'm going to begin right here because those of you with, it's going to be a twisting posture. Those of you with osteoporosis of the spine may have been told, not for you, very little twisting. So for you, you put your foot to the inside, take the opposite hand, go underneath the leg, wrap around your thigh this way. So if you choose to participate in a subtle twist, this is how you make sure you keep it tiny. okay? Because you have to turn and twist in real life, right? If I'm sitting at my kitchen table and I'm doing, I'm passing the salt and hopefully not passing whatever the seasonings, and it's a little bit of a rotation. If I'm washing dishes at my kitchen sink, I'm doing this kind of thing. So we want to keep you functional with the movement. We don't want to go beyond your range of motion for the twist. Otherwise, we're crossing over. For some with knee issues, you can keep this leg straight out. You could also sit on a block to help your back. But for those of us who don't have the knee issue, then we can tuck the opposite foot around to the outside of this glute, not underneath the glute. A lot of people do that. We want it to the outside. I'm going to vigorously wrap my right arm around that outer thigh, and I'm going to hug it in, holding here. And then inhale, I take my left arm up, externally rotate it. Exhale, cup the fingertips to the floor. Inhale, push down into that left foot and the left hand. Exhale, turn and twist. This is Ardha Matsyendrasana, half spinal twist, half fish pose. Now, I'm going to bring my arm to the outside of that left thigh, and then I immediately internally rotate from the shoulder, slip the hand through the window of the leg. Hello, oh, Amy, waving at you. And then bring the opposite arm around. You can bind at the fingers. You can bind at the wrist. Sitting tall. This is a ginormous stretch to your lateral rotators of the gluteal. If you are not in an active or acute state of sciatica or piriformis syndrome, this is excellent for you. If you are in an acute state, don't do it, okay? Holding here, breath in and out through the nose. So in order to stretch a muscle, you do the opposite action of the muscle. The words were lateral rotators. I'm in a medial rotation right now. And then inhale the head forward. Exhale, torso arm forward. Take your counter twist to the other side. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale, hold just for the moment. And let's release the legs. I'm going to bring them out in front. Both knees were bent. And we need to do some of this to the other side. So we're going to begin now with Janu Shirshasana, seated head to knee. So we bend the right knee first, then sole of the foot to the left inner thigh. Want to make sure the hips are straight forward. Pull that left hip back, draw the right hip forward. Don't forget if you need your towel for your knees. Otherwise, hands slip in behind the knee crease, one hand on the thigh, one hand on the calf. Pull and roll the calf and the thigh flesh away from each other. Hold here. Use your strap for spine flexion issues. Remember, head up for medicated or not, hypertension, vertigo, and GERD. Let me grab a block here and show you with level 3 with the block. Stretching out that posterior side of the leg and thigh. Stretch the toes wide apart. Belly button is in. Breath in and out through the nose. Janu Shirshasana. And then inhale. Pull the torso up, arms up. And exhale, hands, namaste at the heart. What namaste reminds me to do physically is to lift the chest up into the thumbs rather than collapsing. So it helps me keep the sternum, the breastbone lifted. When the breastbone is lifted, so is the lower back. It's not collapsed. Now we're going to take the leg out a little bit wider, not a lot, right? Again, just double checking, hips straight forward, butt flesh back. Here's that concept now. We're tying in a small but a definite twist. Right shoulder, right ribs toward that left big toe. Walk it out. Pull. Left hand's going to grab the right wrist with the palm forward. My hand is in a mudra, a hand gesture. I'm uniting the tips of the index fingers to the thumb tips in chin mudra, the union of the individual to the universal soul. Breath in and out. I do love the concept that we come together to share our yoga practice with each other. Yoga means yoking, union. And we have Amy to thank for the platform to which we can share it. Inhale and exhale to the heart. Support out in front for those who want to level up to the next level would be like so. I have to show it on this side. That's it. Yep. Okay. And we're going to lift it. Thank you, Amy. And we're going to push out. So remember, we're bracing with the right arm, pushing out through that right heel, pulling with the left arm. But we're getting into that side of the colon, holding here. And let's set the foot down. Now remember, those of you with your issues with the twist, you would bind it. Hold a moment. I just want to check something. Yeah. Okay. So those of you with twisting issues, you come here before you take your full twist because we want to keep it minimum for you. For the rest of us, we can cross on over. And if you have a knee issue, keep the leg straight out, ankle lined up to the knee, lined up to the hip joint. If you need to be up on a block, you stay on the block. And tuck it over. I'm bringing it very close into my torso, right up, snug as a bug in a rug, right up against me. I take the arm up, inhale, externally, laterally rotate from that shoulder joint, exhale, fingertips, pushing down into the right foot, the right hand. Inhale, lengthen spine, exhale, turn and twist. And then if you want to take it to the next level, elbow wedge to the outside, internally rotate it, breath in and out. And sitting tall. Now, if you want to level up this thing, you would hold on. I'm holding on to my wrist or your fingers, right? You can clasp, lift this leg. So it's just another level. That's all it is. And breathe. And then inhale, head forward. Exhale, lower the foot down. Inhale, bring the torso forward. Lower down. Exhale. Inhale, come up. Exhale, hold. Now let's bring the legs out. And I think I just messed up my sequence a little bit, Amy, but we're fitting it all in. I did it on both sides, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep, I believe I did on both legs. Yes, we did. Okay, so I just had interchanged the two on that one side, but we got it all in and pushing the calf flesh, shaking it out. All right, now we're going to come on to our backs. So there's 3 ways of coming down onto the back. Holding on, you can come down onto one elbow at a time. Set up a towel for those of you medicated or not for hypertension, have GERD or vertigo for this, by the way. Another way is to hold on to the back of the thighs and kind of like do a reverse abdominal crunch, coming onto your backs. Or legs straight out in front, pointing down. I'm going to move up a little bit this way and bring the toys a little closer. If your back feels really strong and you're stronger abdominally, you can do this with the legs straight. Your feet are what's called plantar flexed. They're pointing down, arms out in front. Then you do a reverse abdominal crunch to come onto your backs. Once all the way down here, I'm going to just scoot a little bit forward this way. And let's come into Pavanamuktasana, wind removing pose. And there it is, compression up against the abdomen. And just even this little rocking side to side incorporates twisting. And just hold here for a few moments. I'm going to move some of the toys away. And we're going to come into happy baby pose. So you dorsiflex the feet, soles of the feet toward the ceiling, grab a hold of the outside edges or the outside arches of the feet. I bend the elbows to the outside of the shoulder, or outside of the ribs, really. That's a bit more accurate. Outside of the ribs, pulling with the strong arms. And then I rock side to side. So you can even see, I'm going to hold here for a beat. I'm definitely into both sides of the colon here, but it's also a really nice way to open up your back too. And then from here, I'm going to come into the reclining wide angle, Supta Konasana, opening up the legs like so. Pressing the lower back down, breathing in and out through the nose. Beautiful to open up the adductor muscles, stretching. It's a sort of like a secondary type of stretch to the hamstrings. And then from here, I'm going to point my toes and bring the legs straight up. Holding here, now I dorsiflex the feet, stretch the toes wide apart, puff up the chest, and I'm telling you now, this is all working. This is deep core stuff, deep to the transverse abdominis, which is just below the belly button. This is the internal girdle, internal corset. This is called Viparita Karani, legs up the wall, no wall. It's a little harder this way. Right? And by the way, before you go to bed at night, it's a great way to cool down, not this way, but go up against the wall, and then it's restorative. This way, it's muscular. There's activity here going on. It's excellent position for depression, for insomnia. It does help with that as well. And it's one of the few inversion poses you can do with hypertension. And now I'm going to bend the inside knee to set that foot on the floor. I'm going to pull the outside knee toward the chest with the foot dorsiflexed. Place the ankle across the top of the thigh, or really it's the lower part going toward your knee, right? And this is a position that could be considered contraindicated for osteoporosis of the hip and hip replacement. So you do need to find out if you can do this or not. Some people are cleared for it, but I don't know who is or not, right? So now I'm going to bring my right knee toward my chest, slip the outside arm through the window of the legs behind that inside thigh, and the inside hand to the back of that inside thigh. As I pull the knee in, I use the outside elbow to push down into the inner thigh. So I'm pulling and pushing simultaneously, as you will find exists often in yoga, is oppositional movement. This is Supta Kapotasana, reclining pigeon. So my left arm is into one side of the colon, right? Hold, or I should say the outside arm is into the colon. And the forearm as well is really pushing as I pull in. Hold here. And then this is also a ginormous stretch to the lateral rotators and the gluteus max in particular, more so than the lateral rotators. And then I'm going to slowly lower this foot down, bring this back into the chest. And again, more abdomen compression or pressure on it. So I'm going to now straighten the leg, and you can stay like this, or you can straighten the opposite, push out through the heel, take my peace fingers, wedge them between the big toe and the second toe, and pull. This is Supta reclining Padangusthasana. And pardon me, Hasta Padangusthasana. Hasta means hand. So when you read Padang, it is regarding big toe. And then asana, which is posture. It means posture. Hold here, lengthening through both heels, but yet I'm lengthening away from each other. Then inhale, bend the knee. Exhale, bring the opposite knee in. Hold for the moment, and let's gently rock from side to side. Get that little bit of twisting in while we can. And we're going to take it back to happy baby, rocking. And then we're going to open out into the reclining wide angle. And move the block. Hold there. And then we're going to bring the legs up. Holding here in Viparita Karani, legs up the wall. And breathe. And then we lower the outside foot down with the knee bent. Inside ankle across, dorsiflex. And then we bring it in. Inside elbow pushes into that inside thigh, pulling on the outside thigh, bringing the knee toward the chest. Ankle slightly higher than the knee. Both feet dorsiflexed. That inside bicep muscle, because the elbow is bent. I don't want the shoulder up into the ear. Push it away. Breath in and out through the nose. Just taking your time with this. Because if you're very nervous about something, your body's going to shut down and you're not going to be able to void. And so we just try to get you to calm down a little bit. Breathe. We're going to lower the foot down, bring the opposite knee in, and extend, and ditto the opposite side. Peace fingers, big toe, second toe, so it's in between the two. Pull and push. Breath in and out through the nose. Yeah, I'm feeling it. Then we bend the knee. Bring the opposite knee in. This time, what I'd like you to do is arms out from the shoulders. I'm going to move over a little bit so that not too much of me is cut off for you. And I'm going to turn my head in one direction, drop the knees in the opposite. But I'm going to do this dynamically because for some of you, this is not pleasant. And I do not want anything to happen with the low back. So we want to keep moving through it. And this will just encourage more movement here. Another way to do this, maybe this is just too much for you, okay? That could be just too much of a range of motion. You put the feet on the floor like this, and you can continue, just drop the knees. So you see that it's a smaller twist? Why not? Now I just got a nice spine adjustment doing that. You can do it with the palms up, whatever makes you feel better. I'm going to stop here at the center. I'm going to show you one more on my back and then just a couple on the belly. I'm going to bring the knees in. Lift those legs back up. Now, I'm going to cross right thigh over left thigh. Bend the knees toward the chest Now, for some of you, both feet are going to be dorsiflexed. You can hold your ankles, but I'm going to grab my heels. And this is Supta Gomukhasana, reclining cow face pose. You see all the compression here on the abdomen. Now, if we want to really play with this a little bit, because this is definitely lateral rotators and gluteals as well, I'm going to just a little bit tiny twist in the opposite direction. And welcome to more of the gluteal there and those lateral rotators. And of course, it's going to shift along the colon. And then inhale back to center. Exhale, release up. Hold a moment. Give the knees a chance to release. And then crisscross opposite on top. Bend the knees toward the chest. Dorsiflex the feet. Hold ankles or heels. And pull them away from each other. Opposite directions, yeah? And then if you want that little subtle twist, you drop over. I can't tell you what that does to the stretch in the butt. It's pretty big, but it's really great for you. And especially for those that sit a lot. And then back to center on the inhale. Exhale. Let's lower the feet down. I just want to give those knees, hips a break, and we're going to just do a little windshield wiper in and out, in and out. And now we're going to roll over onto the side. I'm just going to adjust myself. I want to see here where I am with the camera. And we're going to come into child's pose, balasana. But what if you have the knee issues? You insert the towels if you want. You could also, for balasana, use your blocks with one underneath your butt and one underneath your forehead. This will all keep you elevated, so make it kinder on your knees. I'm going to, as much as I pull my hips back, I'm lengthening the chest forward. And lastly, lowering the forehead. And I'm just going to be careful because of my eyeglasses, but I would prefer that your forehead do be down. I'm going to put the chin down. Now, I'm going to tie in the concept of parsva, side or flank. Walk the arms over, bring the torso over onto my outside thigh. And breathe. Inhale, walk it to center. Exhale, take it over to the opposite thigh. And then coming back to center, I'm going to slide the legs out and we're going to come into Sphinx pose. So with Sphinx, you want to have your palms flat. If you know downward facing dog, it's like downward facing dog hands. You're lining up wrists to elbows to shoulders. None of this stuff, none of that. I need the head up, no slouching. I'm reaching back through the big toes, lengthening, pulling the heart center forward, up and back. The head is lifted. Holding here. Now, if you want to take this a little deeper, I'm going to slide back just a little bit and lift the arms, eyes of the elbow creases, facing the ceiling. No slouching. Breath in and out. And then slowly lower down onto the belly. Now from here, I'm going to ask you to airplane your arms, cup your fingertips, lift your body off the floor. If it's too much, if your feet are contracting, you can do this. Why not? Or you can point. And you can lift the arms as well. Gluteals working, hamstrings, back erectors. Inhale, lift a teeny bit higher. Exhale, take it back down. You can turn your head in either direction. And I'm just going to watch the microphone. You can bend the knees and windshield wiper your legs from side to side. And always turn the head in the opposite direction as well. Then we lower down. Now, this is up to you or not if you want to do this, but you can also take it into upward facing dog. And then from here, we come into embryo pose this time. And you can put a towel behind your knees. You can come forward like this. It's up to you how you want to do this. Lengthen the arms out or bring the arms alongside. And then finally, I'm going to come onto my back. And we're preparing for our final relaxation, Shavasana, corpse pose. If you see cat hairs flying off of me, forgive me, please. Now, one thing I would like to do with you, because this is a really nice way to relax the abdominal organs and intestines before the actual final relaxation, though you might want to complete it in this pose. This is your call, all right? So bend the knees, take your block. Level 1, it's going to be perpendicular to the wall in front of you. Lift the butt, place the block underneath your sacrum. The sacrum is kind of like an upside down triangle at the lower back. And you want to put that block directly there. You can stay like this in supported bridge because this is very relaxing as well. Or you can then bring the legs out in front and you can tie in more of a stretch now here too for the hip flexor area, quadriceps, even up into the lower abdomen. You can relax here. You can play with this with the arms up and overhead. Let me put my glasses back on. Forgot I took them off. You can do this kind of thing. So if you do this, this is like doing a reclining supported staff pose. So it would be Salamba for supported, Supta reclining, Dandasana staff pose. But it's also a nice way to release from the forward bending because I am in a bit of a back bend here, right? A spine extension. And now I'm going to release this, lift the butt up, slide the block out. You pull the belly button in to roll down upper back, middle back. Now, technically, I'm not at the floor yet. A lot of times people drop their butt first. Don't let it happen. Get that lower back down first. And then the button. And then please put the towel back if you have it removed for hypertension, vertigo, or GERD. And now from here, we're going to bring the legs out in front. And I want you to stretch your arms and your legs away from each other in a full body stretch it, maybe wiggle it a little bit. And then you can let it go. Bringing the arms alongside of you, puff up the chest to let the body release into Shavasana, your corpse pose. Release, relax, and allow your body to sink into the earth. And then bringing the palms together at the heart expressing gratitude and appreciation to our bodies for working so hard for us, expressing gratitude and appreciation toward each other, where we've come together to share our practice with each other. And once again, thanking Amy for the platform in order to do so. The light and spirit within me honors the light and spirit within you. And this translates into the word namaste. And at the end of each class, we bid each other namaste. And that's what we have for you today, Amy.
Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste.
Remember, until I see all of you again, be strong.
That's right, Amy.
I only do this with you.
You got the guns now, baby.
Be well and be green.
Green! Yay, Amy! Namaste, everybody.
Namaste, everybody. Thank you, Angela. Thank you, Green Warriors.
Looking for really tasty recipes that are SOS free? No sugar, oil, or salt. How can it taste good? Well, if you like flavor, then you'll love this Be Green with Amy recipe ebook. Get your copy today. Click on the link in the show notes. Be strong, be well, and be green.